teenage years are that time where you're supposed to be just living your best life. You're supposed to be stress-free and just exploring life. But for me, because I knew my sexual orientation, I couldn't enjoy the normal teenage experiences about dating and getting to know people, because I knew that if I had revealed what my preference was, that it would have an impact on my relationship with my friends and family. And so it was a very, very difficult time in my life. And I struggled through my late teens, becoming a young adult, because I knew that it would be something that I believed I would get kicked out of my house for. And so I turned to religion. And I became a Jehovah's Witness at age 21. And I stayed in that religion until I was 30 years old. And that was, I have to say, the worst time of my life.
I was raised at a time when most people didn't even know what the gay word meant. It was very taboo at that time. It was very hard growing up. You know, the children at that time used to call me sissy, you know, or faggot, you know. I used to be chased a lot. You know, my mother, you know, she always used to wonder why I was always getting into fights, you know. People thought that I was a bully. I wasn't a bully. I was fighting to defend myself because people were ganging up on me.
Fortunately, I haven't had too many really bad experiences. Sometimes when I'm on the bus, I do hear some ladies in the background when they see me with my rainbow bag, they go, "Oh, that guy's a gay guy. Oh, he's gay." And I just brush it off, whatever. People can say what they want. Unfortunately, I have had some situations. One of note was I was at a wake for a funeral of a close friend of mine, and I was at a bar in Hamilton where it was, and the guy who was supposed to be serving me a drink, he served my friends, everyone else at the table, and then walked away and didn't serve me. And I came back to get him a drink, and he made it very clear. He looked me in the eye and said, "I'm sorry, I'm not serving you." It's like, "Can I ask why?" It's like, "We don't serve your kind of people here." And I was like, well, message received, because clearly, you know, it's another black man talking to a black man. It's not like serve my kind of people.
I finally came out. I came out to my dad after 2 weeks of trying to the point where I was literally throwing up because I was sick, because I was so terrified of telling them. I was pretty sure Dad wouldn't care. It was Mom, because Mom is rather religious. And literally Dad didn't stop doing the dishes. He was just like, cool. Kept doing the dishes, and I was like, hey, can we talk? So we didn't tell Mom until a month later when I thought she'd figured it out, but she hadn't. But yeah, so she was really accepting that night of, but then it took about 2 years for us to fully come to terms and be comfortable about talking about it and just being myself around her. So now, 4 years on from when I first came out, or actually 5 years on, sorry, like, she's going to Pride with me, my dad's going to Pride with me. I'm so excited for that. I stopped caring what Bermudians thought, because that's the only way to sort of be gay in Bermuda. If you care what Bermudians think and you're like afraid to be known as gay, then you're never gonna be who you are in Bermuda.
Over time, probably early 20s, decided to recognize and fully live as a lesbian and fully out. And over time, that fear for me dissipated. And then I learned a few things about power and how power shifts when you become who you are, and you no longer have the fears that others may take advantage of.
Once I opened myself up on Facebook and started to live my truth on Facebook, I have had these incredible moments in my life when people have stopped me on the street and they've said things like, thank you, Linda. I just want to come up and give you a hug. Or I just want to say thank you for being your authentic self. I've had young people come up to me on the street and say, thank you for being a voice, because I'm gay and I'm in the closet and I know that I can't do what you're doing now, but it gives me hope. And for me, that means everything to me, because a lot of people say often, oh, you put everything on Facebook and your Facebook's too open. I know that there are people like me who needed somebody like me at their young age, who need somebody like me while they're in the closet. And so I'm happy to be that person because I think that's my personal mission.
At that time, it was very taboo way back in that day. As I had mentioned, I was arrested for doing drag way back in the early 1980s. I was never charged with it, but I was arrested because at that time, it was illegal for any man to wear women's clothing outside of Halloween. You had to have 3 pieces of men's garments on, which consisted of underpants, undervests, and socks. You know, the undervests and the underpants I can do, you know, but the socks, that would just mess up the whole outfit.
It's interesting because people ask, you know, how can you call yourself gay and be a Christian? It's a really kind of a tough thing that a lot of the gay LGBT Christian community deal with. I know a few of them, and we've had this conversation. We'll sit and have drinks and talk about it. I don't actually believe that, you know, everything in the Bible is meant to be. You know, people say, oh, you're just a new age Christian. It's like, well, there's a lot of things in the Old Testament which are pretty dark. There's some dark stuff which is about disrespectful things to women, about stoning them to death. I think sometimes people want to just kind of put that part away and be like, oh, of course, we can't stone women to death anymore, but we can still marginalize gay people. We can still oppress gay people.
In the religion that they teach here is that it is homophobic. Detouring, my church that I was raised in is Church of Scotland Presbyterian Church, and the presbytery held a vote worldwide for all their churches about whether or not they would allow same-sex ministers. My mom came out super against this, which she recognizes now, but she kind of forgot about when I was in the process of coming out. She was like, I've never been homophobic, and I'm like, this time, that time. You know, like, it's just things that people don't even realize they say or do that you keep track of because it affects you, and you're like, oh.
My church is very encouraging. They're very open. My boyfriend did come to church with once, and everyone was so happy to meet him. Because at the end of the day, they just want me to be happy, and this is what I want for everyone else. I want everyone to just be happy. I think the Bermudian way by its nature is to be friendly people.
I was with someone, I would say safely 10 years ago, and we were together for 10 years, so now we're going back 20 years, and we were in a position of holding hands, walking through Hamilton, and our experience 20 years ago was people seemed shocked, but we never got any unkindness towards us. They just seemed shocked. And we continued to live. We raised 2 children together. Our children's friends hit high school, and their experience was their friends accepted them because why? We didn't hide anything. And we treated them the same way as any other child in our home. So I would say we were accepted, and now I see people, there's even more acceptance, and that makes my heart smile.
I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would see same-sex marriage, that I will see a gay pride in Bermuda in my lifetime. Never thought that this could happen.
Welcome to Bermuda's first ever Pride. Thanks for coming out. Thanks to all our volunteers. Thanks to my partners David and Jen for pulling this together.
Check 1, 2.
We're really glad to have you here. It's going to be a long day full of activity. I'm not going to hold the mic for too long.
I love Bermuda. I love everything about Bermuda. I'm proud of my country. I've worked a considerable number of years as an activist, as a union activist, to make Bermuda a better country for workers and for people. And so I don't want to have to leave my country to live my best life.